can hear you, but I cannot see you.
我听得见你们，可是我看不见你们了。
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
我听得见你们，可是我看不见你们。
晚安。
晚安啊！他练了很久。
Now, brothers and sisters, you have just heard the sum total of all of the Chinese I am able to speak.
弟兄姐妹们，你刚才听到的就是我所会的唯一的中文。
It's so good to see you.
看到你们真的非常美好。
Please be seated.
请坐。
I have looked forward to returning here for several months now.
我已经期盼能够回到台湾几个月之久了。
Bread of Life and Jonathan and the entire family have become very near and dear to my heart.
台北灵粮堂训正牧师还有整个的这些家人，在我的心中是非常非常我常常挂念的。
I told the ministry students today that I only have one problem with you people.
我今天在生培跟学生分享的时候，我说我对你们只有一个问题，
And that's I only get to see you one time a year.
就是我只能一年看见你们一次，这是我最大的问题。
Now I hope you're smiling at me because I can't see in the back.
我希望你们在对我微笑，因为我看不见在后面的那些人的面孔。
You're either smiling at me or frowning at me or making faces at me. I'm not sure.
你是在对我微笑呢，还是在做鬼脸？我都不太确定。
This evening, I'd like for you to open your Bibles and turn with me to the Gospel according to Matthew, Matthew chapter 4.
今天晚上，我想跟我一起翻开你的，跟我一起翻开你的圣经，翻到马太福音第4章。
And we'll just be reading a few verses there in just a moment.
待会我们来读一些的这个经文。
My subject for this evening is a question: Who do you think you are?
今天晚上我要跟大家分享的主题其实是一个问题哦。
Really, who do you think you are?
就是你认为你是谁呀？
Obviously, my subject is about the topic of identity.
今天晚上我要分享的跟我们的身份有关系。
You're not who you think you are.
你不是你所认为的你。
You're not who other people think you are.
你也不是别人眼中的你。
Again, you're not who you think you are.
你不是你所认为的你。
You're not who you think other people think you are.
你也不是人眼中所认为的你。
But you think you are.
但是你却认为那是你。
Now, I heard a humorous story a few years ago that I think illustrates the problem that we have with mistaken identity.
我几年前听过一个故事，这个蛮好笑的故事，其实可以告诉我们，当我们的身份错乱的时候，会带下什么样的一个影响。
Identity theft has become a problem that is pervasive around the globe.
我们知道，在全世界，这个盗窃别人的身份已经成为一个非常大的一个犯罪了。
The cost of this goes into the billions of dollars.
偷窃一个人的身份，可以甚至窃取他很多的产业。
But there's another kind of identity problem that costs more than that.
但是有另外一个身份的一个问题，却带来了更剧烈的一个错误的影响。
And it's mistaken identity, and that's what I've come to talk to you about.
就是错乱身份的错乱，这是一个更大的问题。
And I can see that God said, "Let there be light."
我可以感受到，刚刚神说有光，就立刻有光了。
That those who sat in darkness saw a great light.
那些坐在黑暗地方的人，看见了大光临到他们中间。
Now, this humorous story that illustrates the problem with mistaken identity, I want you to listen to very closely.
这个有趣的故事讲到了身份错乱会带来的可能的影响是什么。
It seems that there was a woman that was diagnosed with a terminal disease and only given a few months to live.
有一个妇人，因她面对到一个临终的疾病呢，她只剩下几个月可以活。
When she consulted with her surgeon, he confirmed the pathology that she only had just a few months to live.
她去看医生的时候呢，医生告诉她真的，你只剩下几个月可以活。
But he consented to go ahead and perform the surgery in hopes that it might be successful.
但是他仍然用最后一丝的期待，希望这个手术可以给他活下来的一些的盼望。
Her heart was gripped with fear that her days may be numbered.
他心里面充满了极深的恐惧，相信他可能剩下的日子不长了。
So she began to earnestly pray and ask God to extend her life.
他就很虔诚的来到神的面前祷告说：“神，求你让我的日子可以长久。”
She is gone now into preparation position for surgery.
就在要预备进到手术室之前，
And just before they put her under anesthesia,
就在他们给他用麻醉药麻醉的时候
she's
之前，
still earnestly asking God to extend her life.
他仍然非常迫切的来到神的面前说：“神，求你让我可以继续活。”
And just before she slips under and goes to sleep,
就在那个麻醉要发酵，让他进入到那个沉睡里面之前，
she hears the booming voice of God, the audible voice of God, saying to her that he was going to extend her life another 15 years.
他就在那个手术台上面听见了神肉耳可听见的声音，告诉他说：“神要让延续他的生命在15年之久。”
She drifts off into sleep knowing that she has peace, that everything is going to go well.
然后就在麻醉当中，他进入了一个很深沉的安息的里面，知道所有一切都会美好。
When she wakes up in the recovery room, the surgeon comes in and says, "I'm surprised. I thought that it was inoperable, but it appears that you're going to live much longer." He didn't know that God had spoke to her.
在恢复室，当他清醒的时候呢，医生告诉他说：“我非常的讶异这个手术的结果，我本来觉得不可能的，但是竟然可以把那个肿瘤切除，而且切除的非常的干净，你可以继续活下去了。”
Now, after she recovers, she is so excited about the fact that she had had an extension on her life that she decides to go out and get extensive cosmetic surgery.
当他从恢复室完全恢复之后，因为他太兴奋了，之后他人生又有15年可以活，所以他就决定要好好的过这15年，所以他就做了很多的整形。
She has collagen injections. She has her eyebrows done.
所以他所有的你可以想象的这些微整形或者是大的整形，他都去做了。
She has a tummy tuck.
所以呢，他也抽了脂肪
She has liposuction.
脂肪也抽了，所有都抽了，
She decides even to get an augmentation.
甚至连也隆乳了。
She's feeling really good about
他
herself.
现在觉得自己好棒哦。
When she looks in the mirror, she thinks how amazing she looks.
当他照镜子的时候说：“哇，真美丽啊！”
A few months goes by, and suddenly she is in a head-on collision, and she's killed.
几个月之后呢，突然就在开车的时候呢，他进入到了一个车祸，在车祸当中他就死去了。
When she dies, she instantly finds herself in the presence of God in heaven.
当他死去之后，他立刻就在神的同在里面醒过来。
You know what her first question is going to be, don't you?
你知道他会问神的第一个问题是什么，对不对？
Her question was, "You promised me that I would live 15 more years.
他说：“神，你不是答应我可以再活15年吗？
How could you allow me to die in an automobile
你怎
accident?"
么可以允许我在一个车祸当中就死去啊？”
And God looked at her and he said, "I did promise you 15 more years, but when you had all that work done, I didn't even recognize you."
神就说：“我真的有承诺你15年，可是当你做了这么多的整形，我认不出你来啊。”
Isn't it true that we do all sorts of extreme things to try to change the flesh that we're in?
你会发现，我们会尝试做很多甚至非常极端的事情，尝试要改变我们这一个人。
The first person that judges you every morning is not a family member, it is not a friend, it's not a coworker.
你要知道，在你早上起来，第一个论断你的人，不是你的家人，也不是你的朋友，也不是你的同事。
The first person that judges you every morning is the person you see in the mirror.
每一天早上起来，第一个论断你的人，就是你在镜子当中所看见的那个人。
You really don't need other individuals to be hard on you and critical. Most of you do a good job of that to yourself.
我们大部分人都不需要有别人对我们有批评论断的这些的言语，因为其实我们自己批判自己是最严苛
Now,
的。
I think it's entirely true that the two greatest days in any person's life
你要知道，对于每一个人来说，我们人生当中2个最伟大的日子是什么
The
日
two
子？
greatest days in any person's life
2个人生当中最伟大的日子是什么日子？
is the day that you were born and the day that you discover why.
就是第一个就是你出生的那一天，第二个是你明白你为什么出生的。
You see, we can know when we were born and to whom we were born and still spend all of our lives not knowing why we were born.
你可以知道你是哪一天出生的，是透过谁出生的，可是不知道、不明白你为什么出生。
Now, this next statement probably is going to be rather challenging to some of you.
接下来的这一句话，可能对我们当中有些人来讲，会有一点挑战你的思维。
So I want you to listen very closely and make sure that you don't misunderstand me.
所以我要你仔细的来听，不要误会我要讲的东西。
I am forever experiencing this wherever I go and speak to various audiences around the world.
我去到世界各个地方，对不同的人分享的时候，我都会经历到同样的事情。
After a meeting, there are people that often come to me and they are rehearsing what they've heard me say and they're brimming with compliments.
很多的时候，他们来跟我回应的时候，以为他们听见我所说的东西，然后给我很多的鼓励。
And as they're rehearsing and retelling what they thought I said,
当他们告诉我，他们认为我口中所讲出来的话的时候，
I'm listening to them and I'm realizing I never said any of the things they thought I said.
我就突然发现，他们所认为我所说出来帮助他们的东西，我都没有说。
And in many cases, I'm thinking, I wish I had said what they thought I said because what they thought I said was better than what I actually said.
很多时候我会觉得说，你们认为我所讲的东西真的是，如果我讲出来的话太好了，因为那比我真的讲出来的东西好太多了。
Now, here's the challenging statement. Our enemy, the enemy of our soul, is not concerned whether we are a believer or an unbeliever.
你要知道，这个会挑战你思维的这一句话是什么？就是我们的仇敌不在乎你是否是一位信徒，或者是一个非信徒。
He really doesn't care whether you go to heaven or hell.
他也不在乎你是否会上天堂或下地狱。
Because either way, you're out of his way.
因为不管怎么样，你都是在他的之外。
But what does cause him to tremble?
什么会使他感到恐惧跟害怕？
Would you like to know what absolutely terrifies our adversary?
你要知道什么使我们的仇敌感到害怕跟恐惧，你知道吗？
Would you like to know what causes him to have a nervous breakdown?
什么使他会整个的精神崩溃啊？
If you ever awaken one day and realize why you manifested out of eternity into time.
就是当有一天你醒来的时候，你突然明白为什么你从永恒当中出现在世界里面。
When you discover why you showed up on this planet,
当你明白为什么你出现在这个地球上，
this does more damage to the realm of darkness
这个带给那个黑暗权势更大的一个摧毁的力量，
than any encounter that you could ever experience,
胜过你所有遇见神的经历，
than any miracle that could ever be worked through you.
胜过你可以行的任何的神迹奇事。
You see, I'm sure that you are familiar with this, that our perceived, and I emphasize the word perceived, identities are formed by many different influences.
我说的是，当我们认为我们的自我形象或者是自我价值，其实是透过很多的来源所来的。
Some of them are very obvious.
有一些是非常很明显的，
Some of them have an indelible imprint on us.
有一些是不可磨灭的一个影响在我们生命里面。
Some of them are hard not to remember.
有一些不记得都很困难啊，
But some of them are very subtle.
有一些却是很隐藏的。
Honestly, some of the most damaging things to our identities
有一些最伤害我们身份的一些的东西，
are not the result of something that was said
不是因为别人所说什么，
or something that was done.
或者是别人对我们做了什么。
It was often just a look.
很多的时候其实是一个眼光，一个眼神。
Somebody who has influence, somebody that has significance, somebody that you are needing affirmation from, and it was just a facial expression that marked you.
可能是一个有影响力的，或者是你很在乎的，或者在你生命当中很有影响力的人，他给你一个眼光，给你一个表情。
There are adults in this room right now who are confused about their identity just because of a look of disapproval from their father.
我们当中有很多已经是成人的，你里面有身份的错乱，是因为当你在成长过程当中，你的父亲给你的一个眼神。
Something that happened in a matter of seconds, just a matter of seconds, has taken you hostage for the rest of your life.
可以在当下只是几秒钟所发生的一个事件、一个眼神，却可以给你的生命一生的那个身份把你掳走了。
You see, we seek identity in all the wrong places, and we live in an illusion. We live in lies.
我们总是在很多的地方去寻找我们真实的身份，我们却常常活在一个欺哄当中，活在一个谎言的里面。
The most damaging story that you ever tell yourself is the story you tell yourself about yourself.
你知道最可以伤害你身份的故事，是你每一天告诉你自己你是谁的故事。
The worst lies, the lies that have the most negative influence on you, are not the ones that people tell you, but the ones you tell yourself about yourself.
你知道最惨、最糟糕的谎言，不是别人怎么样骗你，而是你怎么样欺哄你自己关于你自己的真理。
The voice that has the most influence in your life is not the voice of God, and it's not the voice of our enemy, and it's not the voice of those around us.
你要知道，在你生命当中最有能力的最有能力的话语，不是神的话语，也不是仇敌魔鬼的话语，也不是周遭人对我们所说的话语。
The voice that has the most influence in your life is your voice, because it's the voice that you hear the most.
在你生命当中最有影响力的话语，其实是你自己的声音。最有影响力的声音是自己的声音。为什么？因为是你最常听见的声音。
At this very moment, even though no one is talking, you are still talking to yourself.
在现在的当下，虽然没有人在讲话，你仍然在对自己说话。
Self-talk is something that is so very, very important.
自己跟自己说话其实是个很重要的东西，你知道吗？
Many of you in your head, you talk to yourself about yourself in a way that you would never talk to anyone else.
我们当中有很多人在你里面自己会对自己的一个交谈，是你从来不敢跟别人谈的内容。
And you let this soundtrack play over and over and over again.
你让这个录音带的这样的一个信息不断的重复在你的脑海当中播放。
I'm not smart enough. I'm not worthy enough.
我不够漂亮，我不够聪明。
I am not handsome enough. I'm not beautiful enough.
我不够帅，我不够配得，我不够好。
I'm not enough. I'm not gifted.
我不够有才干，我不够有才华。
How many times do you hear it over and over again, like a song that you hear that you just can't get out of your head?
这些的声音不断重复在我们的脑海里面，好像你听一首歌，早上起来的时候有一首歌在你的大脑里面不断的在那边重复的播放，是你想停止都没有办法停止。
Do you know what I'm talking about when you hear a song and it just seems to be on repeat? It plays over and over and over and over again.
你知道我在说什么吗？就是有首歌在你的脑海里面不断的重复，你想停止都没有办法停止。
You go to sleep and it's playing.
当你睡觉的时候，那首歌在里面
And you
播
wake
放。
up in the morning and it's playing.
当你早上起来的时候，那首歌继续播放。
And you just can't seem to push the stop button. You can't seem to find the delete button in your brain.
你没有办法停止那一首歌，也没有办法把那一首歌清除在你的脑海里面。
That's the soundtrack that plays for so many people that have this serious condition of a mistaken identity.
对于很多真的身份错乱的人，我们里面也重复的不断在播放这样的一个声音。
Again, there are so many things. We could spend the rest of the evening talking about the many things that influence our identity.
我们可以讲到很多的东西，影响关于我们的身
And
份。
again, probably the most damaging ones are the ones that are so subtle we're not even aware of it.
最伤害我们身份的，其实都是非常隐藏、非常思维，就是很小细节的东西，我们很多时候根本就没有注意到的。
I discovered something recently that was really helpful for me in my own self-talk, and I think it would be helpful for you.
我最近发现到一个东西，在我的自我的交谈当中，对我很大的帮助。我相信对你也可以有点帮助。
First of all, neuroscientists. Now listen to this. This is fascinating. Neuroscientists say by the time that you lay your head on your pillow tonight, that you will have about 50 to 60,000 thoughts during the course of a day.
你知道脑科的学者告诉我们， 在你今天晚上躺在床上入睡之前，你会大概有5万到6万的意念跑过在你脑海里面。
You say, I don't think that much. Oh, yes, you do. You're just not aware of it.
你说我不会，平常没有想那么多吧？你有想那么多，只是你没有察觉你在想那么多。
And the truth is that tomorrow when you wake up, because today, probably 80% of your thoughts were negative and only 20% were positive. Tomorrow, the same soundtrack will be playing again.
今天你所想的意念大概80%的都是负面的，20%是积极正面的。明天早上会重复这一个声音整个过程。
That's absolutely mind-boggling. 50 to 60,000 thoughts just today.
你可以想象，光是一天就有5万到6万个意念在你的脑海里面走过吗？
Maybe that's why you're exhausted all the time.
这是为什么你觉得好累哦？
Because mental exhaustion is something that is far more severe than physical and emotional
你要知
exhaustion.
道，你的思维的这一种疲惫是比你身体的疲惫更累的。
Now, one more thing before I move on here that I think is really important for you to understand, because the neuroscientists have also discovered something else about positive and negative thoughts.
你要知道另外一个东西，我想稍微提一下，就是这个大脑的学者也告诉我们一个关于正面积极的思想跟负面的思想的一个特质。
When a positive thought goes through your mind,
你要知道，当一个正面积极的思想进到你的脑海里面的时候，
your mind usually reacts to it like Teflon.
你的大脑的回应好像是所谓的铁氟龙，
It just-
就是不粘锅啊。
It just slides off.
那些意念，正面积极的意念，就好像就溜过去了，就出去了，
It doesn't stick.
它不会留在里面。
When you have a negative thought,
当你有一个负面的思想的时候，
it's like Velcro. It sticks.
好像是魔鬼粘一样，它就粘上，
It won't let go.
它是不会放手的。
You see, I'm convinced
你知道，我很确信一件事
that，one of the problems that we have with our identity being what it should be
我们为什么会在身份上面常常错乱？
is that we are forever remembering what we should forget
因为我们总是记得我们应该忘记的内容，
and forgetting what we should remember.
总是忘记我们应该记得的内容。
Should I say that again?
我要不要再说一次？
Would you like to hear that again?
你想不想再听刚才我讲的那句话一次？
Because this is what needs to be in your soundtrack.
因为这应该要在你
This
的
needs to
脑
be
海
on
里
your
面的声音，
playlist.
这应
This
该
needs to be on your playlist.
这是应该在你播放的歌曲当中的其中一曲。
We have a tendency to always remember what we should forget,
我们有一个倾向，总是记得我们应该忘记的，
and we forget what we should remember.
然后总是忘记我们应该记得的。
Now, in Matthew chapter 4,
在马太福音第4章，
beginning with verse 1,
从第1节开始，
I want you to see the ultimate in temptation regarding identity.
我要跟大家分享的就是身份所面对到最终极的诱惑跟试探，在这个地
The
方。
very first temptation that Jesus ever experienced was regarding his identity.
耶稣所经历到的第一个试探，就是关乎他的身份。
Verse 1, then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil.
当时耶稣被圣灵引导到旷野，受魔鬼的试探。
And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, after it he was hungry.
他禁食40昼夜，后来就饿了。
Now when the tempter came to him, he said, If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become bread.
那试探的人到近前来，对他说：“你若是神的儿子，可以吩咐这些石头变成食物。”
Now before I go any further, I have read to you this one line, this one statement that the devil made to Jesus.
在我们继续读下去之前呢，我刚才读到了这节经文里面讲到魔鬼对耶稣所说的这一句话
If you are the Son of God.
你若是神的儿子，
Do you think it's possible that it wasn't just said to him once, but that Satan said it to him again and again and again, assaulting his mind and his identity?
你觉得有没有可能魔鬼对他说过不只是一次，而是不断的重复、再重复、再重复，在攻击他的身份的认同？
That is certainly a plausible idea, because whenever you are assaulted in your mind regarding your identity, it's not usually just once. It's over and over and over and over and over again, seeking to break you down.
很有可能是这样的发生，因为每一次当我们听到声音在攻击我们的身份的时候，它是不断的重复，再重复，再重复，再重复，再重复，直到它可以把你的身份拆毁为止。
If you are the Son of God, command these stones to be made bread.
如果你若是神的儿子，可以吩咐这些石头变成食物。
But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds from the mouth of God.
耶稣却回答说：“经上记着说，人活着不是单靠食物，乃是靠神口里所出的一切话。”
Now it's obvious, isn't it, that Jesus has not eaten in 40 days, so he's hungry.
所以我们知道耶稣已经40天没有吃任何的东西，所以当然他肚子饿。
But I think there's something more there than maybe we see on the surface.
但是有更多的东西在这里面，是我们在经文上面我们可能一开始没有看到的。
Because Satan was not just appealing to his natural hunger alone.
因为仇敌魔鬼在试探他的，不是他只是肉身的那一个饥饿而已。
The most primal need that any one of us has is hunger.
人最原始当中的需要其中之一就是饥饿。
It's a matter of survival.
因为那是跟我们的生存有关系的。
Now, I want you to see a connection here
我让你看到一个连结在这当中，
and understand that there's not a person in this room that does not have an eating disorder.
让我们当中，确保我们当中没有任何人你有食物饮食的一个障碍或者是一个问题。
And some of you are thinking, no, I don't have an eating disorder.
你可能觉得说，我没有一个食物的问题啊，
I'm not bulimic.
我没有所谓的那种厌食症，或者是一直在催吐症，
I'm not anorexic.
我也没有厌食症。
Well, you may not be bulimic or anorexic, but I assure you that most of you probably are struggling with an eating disorder.
你可能没有厌食症，可能没有催吐症，但是我要告诉你，你有一个饮食上面、食物上面的一个问题。
Because what we're talking about here is just not natural hunger. It's a hunger to satisfy the need for acceptance and knowing who you really are.
我们在讲的不是肚子的饥饿，而是在我们灵里面，我们很身份里面有个饥饿，就是需要知道我是被接纳的，而且知道我到底是谁。
The greatest hunger that any of us have is the need for acceptance and belonging.
我们人里面最深的一个饥饿，就是我们需要被接纳，需要一个归属感。
Many years ago during World War II, there was a phenomenon that developed.
在2次世界大战的时候，有一个发展出来的一个症状。
It was during a time of great poverty that swept across the United States and other parts of the world.
在2次世界大战的时候呢，有一个很大的一个饥荒，一个贫穷临到世界很多的地方。
Many children were left orphans because their parents died.
很多的父母亲死去之后，他们的孩子成为孤儿。
There were infants everywhere that were taken into orphanages.
很多这些的孩子被带进到孤儿院里。
And something began to happen. These infants began to die at an alarming rate.
而很多这些的孤儿在孤儿院里面就很快速的死去。
The attendants in the orphanage, they were dumbfounded by why this was happening because the babies were being fed, but they were still dying.
这些管理孤儿院的人，他们就很讶异，因为他们都有足够的食物，为什么这些婴儿还是会去死去呢？
They appeared to be healthy because they were being fed, they were being cared for to a degree, but they were still dying.
他们好像有被照顾到，可是为什么还在死去当中呢？
And then they discovered the reason why that they were dying was not because they were not being fed natural food. The reason why they were dying is because there were so many of them, there were not enough attendants to hold them and to embrace them and to make them feel accepted and belong.
他们后来发现，他们这些婴孩死去的原因，不是因为他们没有足够的食物让他们可以健康的继续活着，而是因为有太大量的这些的孤儿们照顾的人手不够，以至于他们可以被抱、被呵护，让他们感受到一个被接纳或者是一个归属感。
They were dying from a different kind of deprivation.
他们是在另外一种的缺乏当中，不是食物营养的缺乏死去的。
There was the lack of human touch. There was the lack of human contact.
是在没有肢体的一个接触，或者是人与人之间的一种接触当中缺乏当中而死去。
Now let's see if somehow we can transcend time and go back to this blistering hot wilderness where Jesus is.
看看我们可不可以跨越时空的限制，回到2000年前，在这样的一个很热的地方，这样的一个旷野，就是耶稣受试探的地方。
Somehow from here in Taiwan, may we transcend time and go back and see him in his deplorable condition.
好吧，我们从台湾这个地方，我们超越时空，回到过去，就在耶稣当时非常饥饿的那个光景当中。
For 40 days, Jesus has been in total isolation, lacking any human contact.
40昼夜，耶稣是一个人孤单的，在没有跟任何人接触，在旷野的里
His
面。
body is wasted away from extreme weight loss.
他的身体因着40天没有任何的营养进来，他的身体也在那边好像一点点的失去那个生命力。
Surely, if we were able to see his body, it would resemble the images that we see from those who were starved to death in Auschwitz in the Nazi camps.
如果我们可以看见耶稣当时的身体的状态的话，他其实可能跟在当时2次世界大战的集中营那些很多在饥饿当中死去的那些身体是一样
He's
的。
frail and bony. He's frail and bony, a skeleton.
你可以甚至讲说他非常的瘦，瘦到皮包骨的那个样子。
If we were be able to see him in this time, he's lost so much weight until his eyes have sunken back in his head.
他可能，如果你可以看见到那个时候的耶稣，他可能已经他的体重快速的降到一个地步，是你可以看到他的整个的眼睛都已经
His
缩进去
cheeks
了。
and his jawbones are exposed.
你可以看到他的额骨，可以看到他的脸颊，
His teeth are beginning to recess.
甚至是他的牙齿也开始萎缩。
And if that's not enough, his motions are strained from the weeks of being in isolation.
甚至我们可以说，他的整个的动作，因为他在这样的一个被孤立的一个环境当中，整个人
In
慢下来。
that physical and emotional state in the desert, he's vulnerable probably to hallucinations.
甚至在旷野的这样的一个缺乏当中，你可以想象，他可能已经开始迷幻了。
There's certainly been proof that people in this kind of environment, they begin to hallucinate. They begin to see things that are not there.
我们可能有很多的证据可以显明，当人们在这样的一个环境当中的时候，他可能所面对到的，他开始在那边幻想很多其实没有的东
And it's
西。
in that condition that the enemy appears to him and says, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to be made bread."
就在这样的一个环境当中，在耶稣在这样的一个光景当中，魔鬼出现，然后诱惑耶稣说：“你若是神的儿子，叫这些石头变成食物。”
Now that should sound familiar to all of us because the first time that question was ever raised was in the garden, not in a wilderness.
这一句话其实对我们来讲一点都不陌生，因为这一句话第一次出现的时候，其实不是在旷野，是在伊甸园里面。
You see, the source of all sin is really in you questioning who God says you really are.
你要知道，所有罪的源头其实是来自于当你怀疑神说你是谁的时候，那一刻开始。
Most of the things that we think are real problems are not problems at all.
大部分我们所认为是我们的问题，其实都不是真的问题。
Most of the things that we think are sins in our life are just symptoms of a loss or a mistaken identity.
大部分我们觉得我们生命当中一些的过犯也好，或者是那些习惯性的罪，其实不过就是我们真正问题的一个症状。
The reason why any of us behave wrongly is because we first believe wrongly.
我们任何人，如果我们的行为上面是不符合、是不对的，是因为我们的信念上面错误了。
Does that make sense to you?
你明白我在说什么吗？
Now, I'm sure that the question, if you're honest, let's be honest. Can we be honest? The question is, was this really a temptation?
我们诚实，如果真的诚实的来思想的话，我们常常会问一个问题，就是这是真的试探吗？
After all, we're talking about the Son of God. How could that be a temptation? This is Jesus.
因为我们在讲的是神的儿子是耶稣，对耶稣来讲，这是一个真的试探吗？
If anybody really knew who he was, if anybody was really confident in who he was, it had to be Jesus.
如果任何人真的明白清楚自己的身份，对自己的身份有自信的话，那一定是耶稣，不是
So
吗？
was it really a temptation to him?
所以这个对耶稣来讲，真的是一个试探吗？
Surely he could vividly remember what had happened just 40 days earlier when John the Baptist had submerged him in the Jordan River and he came up out of the water. And when he comes up out of the water, he hears the thundering voice the audible voice of his Father.
他一定可以想起40天之前，当施洗约翰为他施洗在约旦河里面，让他从河水里面起来的时候，他听见如同雷声般的父神的声音对他说话。
This is my son in whom I'm well pleased.
说到这是我的爱子，我所喜悦的。
Which, by the way, it's very important here to note that that God said that He was pleased with him, and He'd never ever done anything.
这是很奇妙，也是很关键的是，神说父神对他说：“你是我所喜悦的。”在耶稣还没有做过任何一件事，行过任何一个神迹。
He had not yet performed a miracle. He had not yet taught a parable.
他还没有讲过任何一篇道，也没有行过任何一个神迹。
And God already said, "I'm pleased with you."
然后父神已经对他说：“你是我所喜悦的。”
Jesus had to remember that.
耶稣一定记得这个40天前所发生的事情，不是吗？
Surely He remembered the heavens opening and hearing that voice.
他一定记得天开了，这个从天上来的声音，讲到他是谁。
See, I think that we wrongfully assume that Jesus was not really tempted in reality like we are.
很多的时候，我觉得我们会错误的看待这个耶稣受试探的经历，我们会觉得耶稣不像我们会面对到试探。
But maybe you've noticed in your reading of the Gospels that this was an ongoing issue with Jesus.
你会如果仔细读福音书的话，你会发现这是耶稣不断在碰到的问题。
He'll be questioned about his identity from that moment all the way to the last hours when he is hanging on a cross, when a thief will look over at him and says, "If you're really who you say you are, why don't you save yourself and us too?"
从这一刻一直到耶稣整个服侍到最后，他挂在石架上的时候，人们都在怀疑他的身份，连在旁边的那个盗贼都说：“你如果真的是你所说的那个，你也救我们下来吧。”
From the temptation in the wilderness and all through those years, those 3.5 years, he is constantly, his identity is being questioned. Oh, by the way, he's just Joseph's son, a carpenter.
从旷野受魔鬼的试探，一直到他的人生当中，都不断的被人试探，说：“你真的是你所说的那个人吗？你不过就是约瑟嘛，是木匠的儿子。”
Don't you find it interesting that Jesus is crucified between two thieves?
你有没有发现，耶稣是在两个盗贼中间被钉死十字架的？
Have you ever wondered why that he had to die in that manner?
你有没有想过，为什么耶稣是挂在这个盗贼中间钉十字架而死的？
After all, Jesus was arrested for blasphemy.
你要知道，因为耶稣他最后被他的定罪控告他罪是亵渎神啊。
And the punishment for blasphemy was not dying on a cross.
你要知道，亵渎神的罪的罪刑
The
的刑罚不是钉十字架。
The punishment for blasphemy, according to the Old Testament, he was supposed to be stoned to death.
在旧约里面，照着律法说，一个亵渎神的人应该是丢石头丢死的。
So why is he dying on a
那
cross?
为什么他是钉死在石架
Well,
上？
certainly he's dying on a cross to fulfill the prophecies that are given to us in the Old Testament. That's true.
我们知道，照着旧约的预言，他是钉死在石架上，要完成救赎的工作。
But why is he dying between two thieves?
那为什么是死在两个盗贼的中间呢？
Why is he in the middle?
为什么是在盗贼的中间？
Why is it not him dying between 5 thieves or 6 thieves? Why is it 2 thieves?
为什么是两个盗贼的中间，不是3个，不是5个？
And he is in the middle.
而且他在他们2个人的中间。
Isn't it true that the thief who came to kill, steal, and destroy didn't just start when Jesus said that in John chapter 10? Identity theft has been an issue ever since the garden.
你要知道，盗贼来，耶稣说盗贼来，无非是偷窃、杀害、毁坏。这个偷窃不只是在约翰福音第10章耶稣所说的那个时候开始的，是从伊甸园他就开始在偷窃我们的身份。
That's what the thief has always been after. He has been after your understanding of who you really are.
盗贼在偷窃最主要的东西，就是你对你是谁的这个认知。
Now, I think probably we need, before we move on from the assault against Jesus' identity,
在我们继续谈关于仇敌怎么样试探攻击耶稣的身份之前，
to look even further back in his life.
我们再继续看他的生平。
Do you think that when Jesus was born, when Mary gave birth to him and she is wrapping him in swaddling clothes, she's wiping the afterbirth off of him?
当耶稣出生之后，玛利亚抱着他，用那个帮他 用布抱着的时候，
that this infant already knew who he was.
你觉得这个婴孩已经知道他是谁了吗？
Did he come here unlike we did with this download, with this consciousness of who he was already?
是不是当他出生的时候跟你我不一样？他已经带着从天国来的天上来的那个智慧，已经知道他是谁，他的任务是什么？
No, he didn't know who he was as an infant any more than you knew who you were.
在婴孩的阶段的耶稣，他其实不知道他是谁，就像你在婴孩阶段不知道你是谁一样。
He didn't even begin to even faintly understand it until he's almost 12 years old and he astounds the doctors and the lawyers in the temple.
他甚至从小到大从小是不明白他的身份开始，直到他12岁的时候，在圣殿里面，他颠覆了很多人他们对圣经的认识。
Now, maybe you think I might be pushing this a little far,
你可能觉得，牧师你这样讲会不会太夸张了点？
but do you remember the ghetto in which Jesus grew up in? He grew up in a ghetto called Nazareth.
你知道耶稣所成长的那个家乡，那个地方其实是可以说是个贫民窟啊，他那个地方叫做拿撒勒。
A city that was notorious, that was crime-ridden.
你知道当时的拿撒勒其实是很多犯罪率的一个城市，一个地方。
That was known for prostitution, that was known for every kind of evil that you could imagine.
是有很多的邪恶事情发生在那个村庄里面，甚至有妓女这些卖淫的在那边。
He grew up with the rumors always swirling around him that he was an illegitimate child, that he was a bastard.
从小到大，他总是有一个传言有一个谣言关于耶稣的身份，就是他是个私生子。
You see, some of you may be thinking, well, that's not in the Bible.
我们当中可能有人说，这个圣经里面没有讲到。
While it may not be in the Bible, that is easily surmised, isn't it?
这个虽然没有记载在圣经里面，可是你可以很容易想到的。
What do you think it was like when Jesus finally reached the age of 5 or 6 years old and he sent off to the synagogue, his first day at school?
你可以想象，当耶稣5、6岁的时候，第一天进到那个会堂里面，就是第一天上学的那一天。
He was very much aware of the kind of town that he lived in.
他很清楚知道他所住的那个家乡是一个什么样的村庄。
He knew that his parents barely lived above the poverty level.
他知道他父母亲不过就是在贫穷状态当中的一个家庭。
Do you think it's possible that when Jesus finally went off to synagogue, when he finally went off to school,
你有没有可能，当耶稣他去到会堂的第一次，他第一天上学的时候，
that the other children, their parents, had told them about Jesus and said, watch that little boy, he's an illegitimate child?
有没有可能其他的家长告诉他们的孩子说，你们要小心那个叫耶稣的人，他是一个私生子。
You see, all of us believe in the virgin birth, but you have to take yourself back to that time and wonder whether or not they would question the legitimacy of his birth.
我们每个人都相信这个童女受圣灵感孕生出耶稣来。可是如果你回到当时的文化的里面，你一定要去想象当时周遭的人对这个事件是否是相信的。
I just wonder if little Jesus, 5, 6 years old, must have come home from school some days crying, running into the arms of his mother.
我常常会想象，这个5、6岁的耶稣，当他从学校放学回家的时候，是不是流着眼泪跑去抱着他的母亲？
And Mary is trying to console him.
玛利亚尝试要安慰他。
What's wrong, Jesus? What happened?
耶稣怎么了？发生什么事啊？
You don't know what they're saying about us at school.
妈妈，你不知道他们在学校里面怎么样谈论关于我们的家。
What are they saying about you, Jesus?
耶稣他们怎么说关于你啊？
Well, they're saying that you became pregnant before you were married to Joseph.
他们说你在嫁给约瑟之前就已经怀孕了。
They're saying that I'm illegitimate, that I'm a bastard.
他们说我是私生子，我是私生子。
They say that you made up this story that Joseph had a dream, that you made up this scheme to try to cover up my illegitimacy.
他们说你尝试用一个梦来遮盖你这样子的一个罪行，我就是一个私生子。
Now do you understand how that his entire life, his identity was under assault?
你可以明白耶稣他一生他的身份都是被攻击的吗？
Maybe we don't tend to think that way.
可能我们没有这样的想过耶稣的身份。
Maybe we don't realize just how much Jesus fully entered into our entire mental an emotional experience so that he could fully identify with what we struggle with.
很多的时候，我们没有办法完全的明白，他道成了肉身，完全进入到我们那种人的那种思维跟情绪跟软弱的里面。
You know, I'm not taking away from the fact that he was God.
我没有在说他不是神。
But as much as he was God, he was fully man.
但是他是100%的神，同时也是100%的
The prophet
人。
Isaiah said that he was acquainted with our griefs and with our sorrows.
以赛亚书里面告诉我们，他知道我们的忧伤，经历过我们的患难。
There's absolutely nothing that we have ever experienced in the scope of human emotions that Jesus did not experience in his.
但是在我们人类当中，所有的情绪当中，耶稣都经历每一个情
As
绪。
shocking as it is to consider, Jesus even knows what it feels like to experience sexual abuse.
耶稣甚至，我们可以想象，耶稣甚至可以体恤我们经历到性侵犯的那种感觉。
I didn't say that Jesus was sexually abused. I didn't say that.
我没有说耶稣他被性侵犯过，我没有这样
But
说
do。you realize when they nailed him to a cross,
可是你记得，当他被钉在石架上的时候，
that religious art has kind of sanitized it?
你要知道，我们所看到的那个宗教性的图像，画到十字架被钉十字架的时候，
Whenever we've seen the artist's rendering of Jesus being on a cross,
每次我们看见到这些画家所画出来耶稣被钉十字架的时候，都已经马赛克版了。
they give him the modesty of at least covering him up.
他们其实都让耶稣好像重要的部位都遮盖住，
But this was not how it all happened.
但是真正十架不是这样的
No,
发生的。
Jesus, the precious, innocent Son of God.
你要知道，耶稣这位神的儿子，
It's not enough that his body was so badly mangled that you wouldn't even be able to recognize him.
他的身体经历到鞭伤、受苦，到一个地步是你没有办法认出他的身体来。
His face was so disfigured, his body was so tortured until it would have taken dental records to identify who he was.
他整个脸跟身体被打、被击打到一个地步，是你完全没有办法认出他，你需要透过他的牙齿才可以认出这个人的身份。
His back had been beaten so brutally until it looked like a freshly plowed field.
他的背被鞭伤到一个地步，整个背看起来就好像是被侵略过的一个草
The
地。
psalmist describes him as he is heaving for breath in those 6 agonizing hours.
诗人在诗篇里面告诉我们，他就在那个6个小时当中，为了每一口气都在努力的呼进去。
He's suffocating, he's asphyxiating as he's gasping for breath in order to utter, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
他就在快要窒息当中，要吸进每一口气，才能够说出主啊、父啊，赦免他，因为他们所做的，他们不知道。
He had been repeatedly smitten in the face so much until his eyes are swollen shut and his lips are split. He can't even see the people that are mocking him at the foot of the cross.
他的脸被打到一个地步，是他整个的眼睛已经肿到他完全看不见，他的嘴唇也裂到一个地步，是完全是分裂的，他完全看不见下面的人。
If that's not traumatic enough, they are crucifying him not in a place that is indiscreet. They are crucifying him by the busiest highway outside of Jerusalem.
如果这个还不够残酷的话，你要知道，他们钉耶稣的地方不是在耶路撒冷一个很偏僻的一个地方，而是在最拥挤、人潮最多的地方，在羞辱耶稣。
Thousands of people will pass by and see this atrocity.
成千上万的人会走过这个地方，看见到这样的一个酷刑。
And Jesus, the precious Son of God, has been stripped naked.
这位神的宝贵的儿子，他是完全赤裸的挂在石架上。
Oh, the humiliation. His mother is standing there at the foot of the cross, looking up at her precious adult son in humiliation.
你可以想象所有的羞辱，耶稣所经历的。这个玛利亚，她的母亲 亲就在下面看着他的成人的儿子经历这一切的羞辱。
And once again, the thief will look over at him. If you are who you say you are, why don't you save us and yourself also?
旁边的这个盗贼就转向他说：“如果你真是你所说的，要不然你就拯救你自己，连我们一起也救了
You
吧。”
see, brothers and sisters, all of these things point to the assault against his identity and the various forms of assault against ours.
亲爱的弟兄姐妹，你要知道，所有这些的攻击在攻击耶稣的身份，同时也在攻击你我的身份。
Now I want to make this personal.
我现在要讲一些
I'm getting
个
ready.
人性的东西
I'm getting ready to make this very, very personal.
我要讲一些非常个人性的关于个
I
人
want
性的东西
you. I。want you to listen to me very, very closely.
我要你很仔细的听我要讲的东西。
I'm going to be vulnerable with you.
我要站在这你们面前非常赤裸的
I'm
敞
going to be
开。
transparent. I'm going to be naked and not ashamed.
我要愿意敞开我自己，而且感觉到没有任何的羞耻。
For 50 years, I struggled myself with my identity.
有50年当中，我一直在挣扎的就是关乎我自己的身份。
Let me tell you my story, or what I thought was my story.
让我跟你分享我的故事，或者是我认为是我的故事。
My mother and father were godly people.
我的父母亲是敬虔的神的儿女。
My father, who just a couple of years ago passed away, was a pastor for 40 years.
我的父亲他2年前过世，他是一个牧师。
But their life in the early years was nothing more than one tragedy after another.
可是他们的生命当中所经历到很多非常悲惨的一些的人生的事件，在他们的初期。
Their first child was a daughter.
他们生出的第一个孩子是女儿。
Now, this was 67 years ago, and she was born prematurely at 7 months.
这是67年前所发生的。她是一个早产儿，7个月就出生了。
If she had been born today, they would have been able to save her, but in 18 hours, she died.
如果是这个时代出生的话，他们应该可以救她的生命。可是，在那个时代，18个小时之后，她就死去。
Their second child, which is my only living sibling, he's 7 years and 7 days exactly older than I.
另外一个，他们的老二呢，就是我唯一活着的兄弟，他大我7年7天。
When my father was called back into the delivery room and he saw, after losing his first child, he saw his second child alive, he was shocked to see the condition that my brother was in.
让他知道他第一个孩子已经过世了。当第二个孩子出生的时候，当他进到那个产房里面，看见到我的哥哥的那个生出来的状况，他非常的诧异。
His face was severely disfigured. He was born with a condition. He was hair-lipped with a cleft palate. His nose laid down in his mouth.
他生出来的时候，他整个的脸是变形的，鼻子一直掉，整个是垮的，垮到他的嘴唇那边。
By the time that he was 5 years old, my parents discovered that he was mentally challenged.
当他5岁的时候，我父母亲发现我的哥哥他是智障的。
To this day, at 67 years old, he still has the mentality of a 6-year-old.
他现在67岁，可是他的智力只有6岁一个孩子的智
Now,
力。
there's a reason for this story, if you will bear with me.
这个我讲这些故事其实是有原因的，所以你们
It
有耐心的来
relates
听，
to this subject of identity.
因为这个跟身份有关系的。
I saw my brother just this past week. He has a severe speech impediment.
我上个礼拜才看到我的哥哥，他其实语言是有障碍的。
Even though I've known him all of my life, I still struggle to try to communicate and connect with him.
虽然我一生都认识他，可是我要跟他沟通、要谈话是非常困难的。
But then going back, my parents discovered that they were expecting again.
后来我的父母亲他们又怀孕了，他们期待第3个孩子
They
要
have
出
a
生。
third child. It's a son.
第3个孩子也是儿子。
10 months after he is born, he contracts pneumonia, has a severely high fever, and he dies.
这个孩子出生之后10个月，他得了那个什么 pneumonia， 然后呢，他后来就是发高烧，后来就死去。
The tragedy just kept piling up, one right after another.
这些悲惨的事件就不断的发生在我们家庭里面。
And then I was conceived.
然后我生出来。
When I became old enough to understand these things, my dad began to tell me about the circumstances around my conception.
当我开始长大，开始明白周遭所发生的事情的时候，我的父亲开始跟我讲，当时当我出生的时候所发生的一些事情。
I would be the last born child.
我是我们家最后出生的一个孩子。
Within months after I was born, my mother developed a condition from which she was no longer able to bear children.
然后我出生之后的几个月，我的母亲就有一些身体的状况，以至于她之后就不能够再受孕。
When I was probably 5 or 6 years old, my dad began to tell me this story.
当我5、6岁的时候，我父亲开始告诉我这个故事。
Now I knew about the loss of my sister and the loss of my brother, and I was very much aware of the limitations of my only living sibling.
我知道我姐姐她早产过世，我也知道我另外一个哥哥他过世，我也知道我唯一生存的哥哥他的身体上面的受限。
My dad began to tell me that he knew the night my mother conceived me.
我的父亲开始告诉我说，他知道当我的母亲怀我的那一个晚上
and that God told him that he was going to give him a son, and that this son would do greater things in the kingdom than he ever imagined.
然后神很清楚地告诉我的父亲，他会生一个儿子，而这个儿子要在神的国度里面成就，是远超过他的父亲所成就的。
From the time I was 5 or 6 years old, I was fed a steady diet of this affirmation. You're great. You're wonderful. You're brilliant. You're intelligent.
在5岁开始，我的父亲就不断地告诉我这样的一个这样。给供应我这样的一个营养素，就是你很棒，你真的很棒，你会成就很伟大的事，你太好了。
All those years, my dad would continue to reinforce that and to remind me that I was a special child.
我的父亲不断地会重复这个，继续提醒我，我是一个特别的孩子。
Now, you would think that would have a positive effect, wouldn't you?
你会觉得这应该可以带给我的身份一个非常正面、积极的一个影响，对不对？
But over the years, I came to the point that I could not stand the sound of those words.
可是几年下来，我发现我完全没有办法到一个地步忍受任何我爸爸在讲的这些的话。
My dad meant well.
我的父亲他的动机是非常好的，
And he really believed what he was saying.
而且他真的相信他对我所说的话。
But I didn't believe it.
可是我不相信啊。
There was so much pressure upon me. He wasn't putting it on me, but there was so much pressure. Remember the story that I said, or the statement that I made, that the voice that you listen to the most is the one in your own head.
你记得我刚才所讲过的这一句话，你最常听到的声音就是你脑袋里面所说的声音，所以这个声音带给我一个很大的压力，在我的自己里面。
I just could not bring myself to believe what he was saying.
我就是没有办法相信我爸爸在对我所说的话。
I did not believe what I know to be reality now, that I've traveled the world and spoken now to probably hundreds of thousands of people around the world, but I didn't believe it.
我那个时候完全没有办法相信，现在已经呈现的、已经实现的这一些的事情，就是我去到世界很多的地方，对成千上万的人分享神的话。
It wasn't his expectations that were holding me prisoner. It was my own expectations.
不是他对我的期待使我陷入到这个牢笼的里面，而是我自己对自己的期待，让我困住在这个牢笼里面。
I listened to the constant soundtrack. That can't be true. That can't be you. You'll never be able to do that.
因为我不断在听到的声音，其实告诉我说，那不可能是你，你永远不可能成就这一切，你永远无法做到的。
Now, I never had a learning disability, but I was convinced I had one.
我从来都没有学习障碍，可是我从小到大，我被自己说服，我有学习障碍。
I'm very serious. I've never had a learning disability. I've never had a reading disability, but for many years I was convinced. Up until just a few years ago, I was convinced that I was of inferior intelligence.
你知道，我从来都没有学习障碍，也没有阅读的障碍，可是从小到大，我就说服我自己，其实一直到前几年我一直都认为我的智商是次等的。
It didn't make any difference how much applause that I received from people. It didn't make any difference how well I did. I would always walk down off of the platform, even though people thought that I was confident.
我不管我在台上别人给我多大的掌声，或者是别人给我多多的赞赏，我每一次下台的时候，我总是在怀疑我自己。
People thought that I was competent.
人们总觉得我是很有能力的，很有自信的。
I would walk down off the platform and go back to my hotel room.
当我走下讲台的时候，回到我的房间里面的时候，回到我的旅馆的里面的时候，
And lie on my bed.
当我躺在我的床上，
And think you are nothing.
然后我想，我真的什么都不会。
For many years, I sought to overcompensate for my perceived lack of ability.
很多的时候，很多年下来，我尝试去弥补我个人认为我不足的地方。
I read profusely.
我大量的阅读。
For 30 years, 6 to 8 books a month.
30年下来，我一个月会读6到8本书。
Whenever you would find me, you would find me with a book in my hand.
你每一次看见我的时候，我都拿着一本书在那边读。
Because I just was trying to compensate for what I thought I lacked.
因为我尝试去弥补我认为我不足的地方。
I just couldn't believe that I was really enough the
我没
way
有
I
办法
was.
相信我的本相是足够，是够好的。
Insecurity, inadequacy.
不安全感，那种不够的感觉，不足的感觉。我里面有很多的恐惧、跟害怕、跟焦虑。
I had been accepted and given favor by some of the premier voices in the body of Christ around the world.
在全世界，在基督的肢体当中，在教会界里面，有很多非常有名的讲员，他们都觉得我的分享非常的棒。
I spoke in their conferences and they told me how wonderful I was.
他们邀请我去到他们的特会去讲道，而且讲完之后，他们说我分享的多棒。
I went from undergraduate school to graduate school and then on to postgraduate work.
我从大学毕业之后去到研究所，甚至研究所还做博士、后博士的论文。
But even with all of the degrees, I didn't believe.
不管我有多多的文凭，我仍然不相信。
Then I began to understand that my deepest fear was not that I was inadequate.
后来开始明白，我原来最深的恐惧，其实不是我不够好。
My deepest fear was that I was powerful beyond measure.
我里面的恐惧是我太有能力到一个地步是超越的。
At one time, I would have thought that was arrogance.
我以前认为那是骄傲。
But I want to remind you again that my deepest fear was not that I was inadequate.
我要再次提醒大家，我里面最深的恐惧不是我太有，我不足够，我不能。
My deepest fear is that I was powerful beyond measure.
我里面最深的恐惧是我怕我自己太有能力到一个地步，我没有办法谦卑。
Don't we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant? Who am I to be gorgeous? Who am I to be talented?
我们常会问自己：我是谁？我凭什么可以那么有能力？我凭什么可以那么有智慧？我凭什么那么帅、那么英俊？
Actually, the question ought to be, listen, actually the question ought to be,
我们应该要问的问题是：
who are you not to be?
你不应该是什么样的人？
You're a child of God.
你是神的儿女。
You're playing small.
你常常把自己想得太小了。
You're living in your small self,
你活在你小小的框架的里面，
in your false self.
在你的错误的自我框架里面，
You're living in a false ego.
你活在一个错误的自我认知里面。
You're allowing a script to play over and over in your head that is not the script that is found here.
你在脑海当中所不断播放的那个剧本，并不是圣经里面所写关于你的剧本。
Identity is everything.
身份决定了一切。
It's not just one thing, it's everything.
身份不是只是一个东西一点，而是所有的全部。
There are many of you right now that are imprisoned by expectations.
我们当中有很多的人，你因着期待而被困在这个期待的牢笼里。
In the same way, I was imprisoned by expectations.
同样，就像是我因着这样的一个期待被困在这个牢笼的里面。
You know, the worst prison in the world is not the prisons that have high walls and guard towers and prison cells.
你知道全世界最可怕的那个监牢，不是那个墙很高，然后有很多的那个守卫，或者是有铁的笼子。
The worst prison in the world are expectations.
你知道全世界最可怕的牢笼就是期待。
So I remind you with my original question, who do you think you are?
所以我从一开始的问题再次提醒你，你认为你自己是谁啊？
You're not who you think you are.
你不是你所认为的你，
You're not who other people think you are.
你也不是别人眼光所认识的你。
But up until now, you've thought you are.
可是直到今天，你以为那是真正的你。
Have you ever wondered why you think the way you do?
你有没有想过，为什么你会这样想？
Really, have
关
you
于
ever
你自己。
have you ever stopped and wondered why do I think the way I do?
你有没有想过，为什么我是这样的想的？
And sometimes you think other people think the way you do.
然后你常常会觉得，周遭的人的想法也是跟你一样的想。
You see, repentance is not something that just describes what happens to us in initial conversion.
你要知道，当我们讲到圣经里面讲到悔改的时候，不是描述我们觉知信主当下所发生的事情而已。
Well, I'm sure that probably everybody in this audience has probably already repented and confessed your sins.
我相信我们当中几乎每一个人都已经我们曾经认罪悔改过。
But do you realize that repentance is an ongoing process?
但是有多少人知道认罪？其实我们讲到这个悔改，其实是一个不断在进行发生的事情吗？
It's not a one-time thing.
不是只是曾经发生过一次而已的事情。
It comes from a word that has to do with, that is very much associated with metamorphosis.
这个它的原文其实跟我们那个所谓蜕变其实是有关联的。
The process of changing from the inside out.
那个蜕变其实讲到是从内心里面改变到影响到外在的。
You see, the problem that I have, and I believe, I suspect that the problem that many of you have with your identity and being secure in who you are,
我所面对到身份的问题，跟我们当中很多人你也面对到同样的一个问题，对于你自己的身份的那个安全感，
it's not what is going on around you,
不是我们周遭环境所发生的事情，
but what's going on inside of you.
而是你内心里面所发生的事情。
So repentance is changing the soundtrack.
所以悔改是什么？其实就是改变你里头所播放的那个音乐。
We want our circumstances to change.
很多时候我们希望我们的环境可以改变，
And we think if our circumstances change, that we'll change.
我们觉得我们环境改变，我就会改变了，
And that's wrong thinking.
这是错误的思维。
If I could just change where I live, if I could change the people that I'm around.
如果可以改变我住的地方，我可以改变我周遭的朋友。
But how many of you realize that every problem that you have ever had, every problem that I've ever had, I've always been there?
有多少人知道，你面对到所有你生命当中所面对到的问题，其实一直都在。
Are you ready for something really profound?
但是你预备好接下来这个非常奥秘性的一个
Are you
一个真理
ready
吗
for？something really profound?
你预备好接下来这个奥秘性的真理吗？
Everywhere you go,
你去到任何的地方，
everywhere you
不
go,
管你去到任何的地方，
you're there.
你都在。
And I didn't mean for that to sound clever
我不是
or
要
funny,
我不是要用一个好笑的方式讲这一句话的哦，
even though it does sound rather humorous.
虽然听起来还蛮有趣的。
So I've got to change my internal world.
所以我必须要改变的是什么？是我内心的世界。
I got to realize that my insecurities is evidence of what I'm secure in.
我要知道我的不安全感其实是什么？是告诉我我的安全感在一个错的地方。
Now, I don't know whether I've been able to convince you so far,
我不知道我没有成功的可以说服你，
but I can tell you that through many, many years of inner struggle,
但是我可以告诉你，在很多年这个内心的挣扎之后，
that what I'm talking to you about right now, even though you don't really know me,
虽然你可能很多人是第一次听到我讲，但是我所在讲的这个东西
has been the most transformative truth that I've ever experienced in my life.
是我生命当中经历到转化我生命最重要的真理。
In all those years that I struggled with my identity,
这么多年下来，我在我的身份里面挣扎着。
most people thought that I was very confident.
很多人觉得我是很有自信的讲员。
I had developed this persona where I projected confidence.
我已经学会怎么样透过这样一个所塑造出来的形象，让人家认为我是非常有自信
I had
的。
learned how to act and react in certain settings.
我知道怎么样在一些的环境当中，怎么样反应，怎么样来行动。
I was always on the defense.
我总是好像在防卫一样。
I was always watching what people were saying and doing.
我总是在听别人在做什么，说什么，或者是看别人在做什么。
I was allowing them to influence who I was more than I was allowing God's ideas about me to influence me.
我允许他们来影响我是谁，而胜过我允许神来对我说关于我是谁。
When I began to experience this transformation,
当我开始听到这个转变的时候，
I was so set free.
我得到好大的自由。
And I want you to understand what I'm getting ready to say clearly.
我要你可以明白我接下来所要讲的东西。
I got so set free
我听到好大的自由，
that I literally never care anymore what you think about me, whether good or bad.
我到一个地步是我完全不在乎你怎么样想我，不管是好的或者是不好的。
You say, well, that doesn't sound very loving or caring.
你说这样听起来好像不太有爱啊？
No. That's what real love is because I understand his unconditional love for me. And so I am not held hostage by your love that goes up and down.
这才是真正的爱，因为我明白他对我无条件的爱，这个无条件的爱释放我到一个地步，以至于我不会因为你所对我的爱的程度而被绑架，因为你对我的爱常常是有高有低。
For years and years and years, I would cry out to God, telling him what a disappointment I was.
很多年下来，我都会跟神呼求说：“神，我真的让你失望透了。
I know I'm a disappointment to you.
我知道我一定使你失望透了。”
And for years, I realized that he never seemed to respond to that.
几年下来，很多年下来，我发现神从来都不回应这样的一个呼求。
Have you ever noticed sometimes when you're praying about a particular subject that it seems like that either God is indifferent to you or he's always wanting to change the subject?
你有没有发现，很多的时候，当你跟神讲到一个主题的时候，好像神好像完全不在乎你，或者是他对这个主题一点兴趣都没有，一直想改变这个主题。
God does not respond to your self-rejection.
神永远不会回应我们自我的拒绝，
God will not respond to your self-criticism.
神也不会回应我们自我的批评。
And then it happened one day.
然后有一天发生了，
I was on the floor.
有一天我在地板上，
And I was rehearsing to God about something I had failed to do, and I said, I know I'm such a disappointment to you.
我再次跟神重复一个我答应他，我后来没有做到，或者是失败的东西，然后我就跟神说，我知道我一定让你失望透了。
I didn't hear an audible voice,
我没有听到一个肉耳可听见的声音，
but the voice I heard was unmistakable,
但是我所听见的声音却是我永远没有办法
and
忘
it
记的
shook。my world.
那个声音完全的颠覆我的世界。
He said, Randall, it's impossible for you to be a disappointment.
他说 ：“Randall， 你永远不可能在我的眼中是失望。”
At first I thought, what?
我说：“怎么可能？”
It's impossible for me to be a disappointment.
我说：“神，我永远不可能让你失望。
But you know how I failed.
可是你知道我会犯错啊。”
And then it seemed like there was a long, long pause, and he didn't give me any clarity.
然后就有一个很长的时间，是神都没有在说话，也没有告诉我，也没有
I
解
said, what do
释。
you mean?
我说：“神什么意思啊
He said, in order for you to disappoint me,？”
他说：“如果要让我对你失望，
you'd have to do something that I didn't already know you were capable of doing.
你必须要做一些事，是我觉得你不可能做的，才会失望。”
When do you think I discovered that about you?
你知道我什么时候认识关于你的这一切吗？
When you told me?
是你告诉我承认你的过犯的时候，我才发现的吗？
I knew that you would do that before you were ever conceived.
在你还没有在母腹当中成型的时候，我就知道你会做这些事。
Because my love is not conditional, it's unconditional.
因为我对你的爱不是有条件的爱，是无条件的爱。
I don't love you just in spite of it. I love you because of it.
我不是因为这样而爱你，我就是因为爱，所以我爱你。
It's your weakness, Randall, that is so attractive to me.
是你的软弱深深的吸引我啊
I
，Randall。
thought he only paid attention to me when I was strong and confident and bold and knew who I was.
我以为当我勇敢知道有我自己是谁，然后有自信的时候，他才注意到我。
You see, we think that God is repelled by weakness.
我们很多时候认为神看到我们的软弱的时候，他就会觉得哎呀，好肮脏，好污秽。
The most attractive thing about us to God is our weakness.
你知道我们生命当中最吸引神的是什么？是我们的软弱。
He cannot resist our weakness.
他没有办法拒绝我们的软弱。
Have you ever considered the power of the words of Jesus when he would say, Jesus, the most perfect human being?
你有没有想过，耶稣全世界最完美的人，他这样的说过，
Would say, I can of my own self do nothing.
他说：“子凭着自己什么都不能做。
Amazing, amazing ”
太奇妙了。
that he would say, I can of my own self do nothing.
他说：“子凭着自己什么都不能做啊，
I can only do what the Father shows me to do.
我只能够做父所显明他在做的事。”
See, I always had this impression of Jesus when I'm reading the Gospels that he always knew exactly what to say, that he was always so powerful in his communication.
我每次看圣经的时候，我都会觉得耶稣他总是知道当下应该做什么，他总是在他传讲信息的时候是知道大有能力的。
And he certainly was.
是的，没有错。
But see, he was so utterly dependent upon the Father, he acknowledged his weakness.
但是他极深的依赖父神到一个地步，他可以承认他的软弱，
And actually, that was the source of his power.
而他的能力的来源是在于承认他的软弱。
God's waiting on you
神在等候你，
to accept your weakness.
接受你自己的软弱跟不完全。
It sounds like a paradox.
这听起来很吊诡，不是吗？
But God's waiting on you to accept your weakness.
神在等候你接受你自己的软弱。
How do I know that he is attracted, that he cannot resist weakness?
我怎么知道他被我们的软弱吸引，他没有办法拒绝我们的软弱呢？
Because the first time that you ever see it demonstrated is in a garden.
因为第一次看见到这个事件发生是在伊甸园。
I'm not talking about the one where Jesus is in travail in prayer,
我讲到的不是客西马尼园，耶稣在那边劬劳的祈求，
where his sweat becomes as drops of blood.
他流汗如同像血滴般一样。
You see, the reason why Jesus, as he's praying in the Garden of Gethsemane under the intense pressure of what was about to happen, the reason why his sweat turned to blood was not because of the trauma.
你要知道，耶稣他在客西马尼园这样的祷告的时候，不是因为接下来要发生的那个让他感觉到那个汗流如血一样。
The reason why his sweat turned to blood was prophetic.
你要知道，他的汗流出血滴是一个先知性的预表。
It wasn't that he was under such strain that the capillaries in his forehead ruptured and blood mingled with perspiration began to drip down into his eyes and saturate his beard.
不是因为在当下极深的压力当中，他的血管后来爆掉，然后爆了血管，然后他的血流下来，跟他的汗水流在他的胡须上面，不是的。
No, it was prophetic.
这是一个先知性的一个图画。
Do you remember in the garden when Adam and Eve began to question their identity?
你要知道，在伊甸园里面，当亚当跟夏娃开始
When the serpent-
怀疑他们的身份，
When the serpents came to them and said, Are you sure that's what God said? God knows in the day that you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil that you'll be like him.
蛇开始对他说：“你真的确定你不能够吃这个分别善恶树的果子吗？因为神知道，当你吃的日子，你就必像如神一样。”
You see, they believed a lie.
因为他们相信了一个谎言。
They were already like God,
他们本来已经
made in
跟
His
神一样，
likeness
因为
and
是
made in His image.
因为是照着神的形象跟样式所造的。
But they believed they were not.
可是他们开始相信一个谎言，
They would
不
believe-
认为他们是像神一样。
They actually believed what I'd believed for years, I'm not enough.
他们开始相信过去我所相信的谎言，就是我不
I
够
am,
好，
I am enough.
我够好，
You are enough
你够好，
because you came from a source called love that has no limits.
因为你来自于的这一个生命的泉源叫做爱，而这个爱是永不止境、
But
永
when,
不停止的。
but when Adam believed that lie, do you remember the curse that came upon him?
你要知道，当亚当相信那个谎言的时候，你知道什么样的咒诅临到亚当的
The
身上
curse,
吗？
the curse that came upon him when he was cast out of the garden
当他在伊甸园里面被赶逐出去的时候，什么样的一个咒诅临到亚当
was
的身上？
was that he would spend his life plowing the soil,
就是他必汗流满面才得糊口，
toiling with the soil.
他要汗流满面才能够糊口。
And maybe we haven't fully understood the imagery of that.
你可能还不明白这个图像所代表的。
Does it mean now that he is not in this place of endless abundance called the garden?
他现在没有在这个伊甸园里面是丰盛、完全无止境资源的地方，
Where he didn't have to do anything, all he had to do was take what was there.
他在那边什么都不需要做，就是这样单是支取那边所有的果子。
So was God just saying that, okay, from now on, you're going to have to plow the ground, you're going to have to plant the seed, you're going to have to wait for it to come to fruition?
神在讲的是不是好？现在从今天开始，你要撒种，你要施肥，你要等候，你要收成，才有东西可以吃。
Is it possible that he was saying much more than that?
有没有可能神在讲的是远超过这个我们所想象的？
I think so.
我觉得是哎，
Because he told him, he said, you will plow or you will toil with the ground and it will bring forth nothing but thorns and thistles.
他说你要汗流，他说你要终身劳苦，才能够吃地里生出来的，地必给你长出荆棘跟棘藜。
And it is by the sweat of your face that you will do this.
你必汗流满面才得糊口，
By the sweat of your brow, you will do this.
是汗流满面你才可以得以糊
By your
口，
own effort, by your own struggle, by your own energy, you will do this.
是透过你自己的力量、你自己的精力、你自己的劳力才能够做到。
Maybe he was talking about more than the ground beneath his feet.
他可能在讲的不是只是他地上的那一个土，
Maybe he was talking about the ground from which Adam was taken himself.
他讲到的是亚当从哪一个地方、那个地方或者是那个位置所离开的。
Adam, like all of us, are held captive in earth.
亚当就像我们每一个人一样，是在地上被受限制、被辖制的。
We're held captive in dirt.
我们在这个尘土当中受限制，
And try as we may to produce anything that we think is fruitful.
尝尽我们所能的尝试，带出有所谓的生产力。
It seems that all we do is reap thorns.
可是我们不管怎么样努力，生出来的是荆棘跟棘藜。
So now it makes sense to me, while Jesus, who is not in the Garden of Eden, but in another garden, the Garden of Gethsemane,
所以为什么耶稣他现在在这个花园不是伊甸的花园，而是客西马尼园？
and Paul would get insight to this, and he would refer to Jesus as the last Adam.
保罗也有领受这样的一个启示，因为他讲到耶稣是末后的亚当。
So there in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus will shed blood the first time. Jesus will not shed blood the first time at the whipping post. He will not shed blood the first time when they nail him to a cross. The first time that he will ever shed blood is in a garden.
在客西马尼园，那个是耶稣第一次流出他的血，不是当罗马兵在鞭打他的时候他流血，也不是钉十字架他第一次流血，他第一次流血是在客西马尼园祷告的时候。
The first thing that the last Adam had to do was to redeem us from the sweat of our own thinking.
那这一个幕后的亚当，第一个要流血拯救我们脱离的，就是我们这种汗流满面这一种自我的思维的里面拯救出来。
You see, the irony of this is undeniable.
你要知道，这个东西是非常令我们是很吊诡的一个真理啊。
In John 19, the soldiers will suddenly get this idea. Let's torture him some more.
在约翰福音第19章，突然这些罗马兵丁他们想到一个折磨耶稣、一个惩罚耶稣的酷刑。
And they'll plait a crown of thorns, won't they? You remember that? They make a crown of thorns in mockery.
他们用荆棘做的一个成为一个皇冠，压在耶稣的头上。
And they press that crown of thorns into his head, into his skull.
用荆棘做了一个皇冠，压在耶稣的头上。
Where do we first see that imagery?
这个图像是一开始在哪里出现的？
That's back when man was cast out of his rightful place in his identity.
当人一开始从他原本的身份当中被逐出去的时候，
Jesus shed the blood to redeem our minds.
耶稣流出宝血，要来救赎我们的思想。
And to remove the crown of thorns, the thoughts that penetrate our minds and hold us captive to a false identity.
然后要除去这个荆棘过去在我们的思维当中所带来的那个错误的影响，窃取我们的身份。
Now it's time.
现在是时刻了，
It's time right now.
现在是时刻了，
It's time for you
现在是你
to begin to embrace fully who you are.
开始拥抱真正的你的时刻。
It's time for you. Go ahead and stand to your feet.
我们可以从位置上站起来，
It's time for you. Listen now.
注意听好了，
It's time for you to stop waking up every morning
现在是你停止每天早上起床的时候，
to the same old thoughts that you've had all of your life.
然后重复的不断的听你一生都在听的那个音乐。
I'm sure that some of you are probably thinking, well, you don't understand. My father,
我们当中可能有人会说，
my natural father,
牧师你不明白，我的父亲，
is such a strong personality.
我的父亲他是非常刚硬的，
He has such a strong influence in my life even into this day.
他对我的生命带来极大的一个影响，直到今天。
I'm not sure I can ever escape that influence.
我没有办法想象有一天可以离开他所带给我的影响。
And I'm not suggesting that you're blaming your father
我不是在说你在怪罪你的父亲，
because he is the product of his environment.
因为你的父亲也是他的环境当中所经历的受害者。
He is who he is because of the environment he came out of.
他之所以成为这样的一个人，是因着他之前所经历到的环境，造成他这样的一个人。
But you're looking at living proof.
但是你现在看见到一个真实、活生生的见证。
If you haven't heard anything I've said tonight,
如果你没有听懂、没有听到我今天所讲的任何的东
right
西，
now, standing on this platform,
现在站在你面前，
you're looking at a 58-year-old man
你看的是一个58岁的人，
that is finally set free.
是真实的经历到自由。
Inadequacy,
那种不足的感觉，
insecurity,
那种不安全感。
lacking intelligence,
我认为我没有足够的智慧，没有足够的能力。
lacking adequate gifting.
我认为我不会，我的恩赐才干不够，
It's virtually gone.
已经完全的从我里
Oh,
面
every
完全的
once in
离
a
开。
while it tries to come back.
当然，偶尔他还是尝试要回来。
But I've learned how to agree with God.
我知道怎么样认同神所说的我，
I've learned how to break the covenant of lies that I made.
我知道怎么样破除过去我跟这些谎言所建立的盟约。
I just wonder if there's anybody here tonight
我在想，我们当中有没有任何的人，
that wants to break free.
你渴望得着自由？
Thank God for one.
有一位，
Is there
感谢神
anybody else
还
that
有没有
wants
其
to
他
break
人？你渴
free?
望得着自由？
You were waiting on me to shut up, weren't you?
你现在等我要闭嘴。
When I say confession, what do you think of?
当我讲到我们要承认或者是认罪的时候，你第一个想到是什么？
Most of the time we think of you're coming clean.
我们讲到认罪，我们就可以得到洁净。
I admit it.
我认错，
And that's true. That's part of confession.
没有错， 承认的这个认罪是承认的一个部分。
But can I tell you what God's side of the confession equation is?
你要知道，从神的角度看承认、看认罪是什么。
Because again, He doesn't discover what you think's wrong with you when you finally tell Him.
因为不是当你告诉神你认罪的时候，他才发现你生命当中所出的问题啊。
The other side of that equation is agreeing with Him.
这个承认另外一个部分是你要同意神所说关于你的
See,
事。
that's what confession means. It means to agree with.
因为真正的这个所谓的认罪的这个承认，其实讲到就是同意他所说的。
Are you ready to disagree with yourself so that you can agree with Him?
你现在预备好要否定你过去所说关于你是谁的这一个事实，而去承认、相信、同意他所说的是你吗？
Are you ready?
你预备好了吗？
Are you ready?
你预备好了吗？
Now, see, there are a lot of people that don't understand, why we do some of the things that we do.
你知道很多人会不明白为什么我们会做一些我们所做的事。
One in particular is, why do you think we lift our hands?
很多人会问说，为什么你要举手啊？
Why do we do this?
为什么我们要举手？
You say, well, it's because we need help.
因为我们需要帮助啊。
Well, that's not what the Bible says.
可是不是圣经上所说的。
So why is it we lift our hands?
那为什么我们要举手？
The writer says that we are to lift our hands without wrath
圣经告诉我们要举起圣洁的手，不带着愤怒，
and without doubting.
而且是没有任何的怀疑。
Now, what does that mean for you personally and practically?
那这个对我们个人来说什么意思啊？
In a minute, I'm going to invite you to do something that you've done many times, but maybe you've never done it this way before.
待会我邀请你做一件你可能常常做的事，可是从来没有照着这个方式去做过。
I'm going to ask you first to raise one hand, and that's the hand of wrath. I'm letting go.
我要你举起一只手，一只手是把那一个你手中的怒气放掉。
I lift this hand right now without wrath.
我举起手里面不带着任何的愤怒在我的里面。
I'm letting go of what's tried to take hold of me.
我放下那些尝试要辖制我生命的。
I'm letting go of the anger I've had toward myself.
我放下过去我对自己的那个愤怒。
I'm letting go of the anger I've had toward people in my life.
我放下过去我对我生命当中周遭的人的那个愤怒。
Now, Lord, my hand is open, so I'm letting it go.
主啊，我的手是打开的，意思是说我愿意放手。
I thought it belonged to me,
我以为这是属于我的命，
but it doesn't belong to me.
但是这样的愤怒不是属于我的，
It's not me.
那不是我，
It never has been me.
那永远从来都不是我。
And I refuse
我拒绝，
to ever let it come back on me.
永远拒绝让它再次回到我生命里面。
And now I raise the other hand without doubting.
现在我举另外一只手，不带着任何的怀疑。
I lift this hand without self-doubt.
我举起另外一只手，没有任何的自我怀疑。
I lift this hand without doubting your ability to change me.
我举起这一只手，代表我不再怀疑你有能力可以改变我。
I lift this hand knowing, Lord, that you accept me just the way I am.
我举起这一只手，知道神你接纳我，照着我的本相接纳。
That I'm finding spirituality in imperfection.
就是在灵里面的不完美当中，我也可以接纳我自己。
It's not my will that perfects me.
不是我的意志力可以使我完全，
It's not my ability or inability,
不是我的能力或者是我的不足啊，
but it's entirely your ability.
完全都是因着你的能力。
No more doubt.
不再有任何的疑惑，
No more self-doubt.
不再有任何的怀疑。
Come on, say no to it.
你拒绝所有对自我的怀疑。
Say no.
你说 no，
No. I want you to say it like you mean it. Say no.
说 no，
I'm not convinced.
感觉好像还是有点弱哈。
You see, you have to learn to say no to some things, or you'll never be able to say yes to the right thing.
你要知道，你要会拒绝一些的东西，你才能够向正确的东西说 yes。
Now, I want you to see if you can convince me before you put your hands down. I want you, listen, look at me.
看着我，看着我，看着我，手举
Keep your hands up.
手继续举着，看着我，看着我，看着我，
Look right here.
看着我。
I don't want this no
我不要这个 no
to come from here.
是从你的大脑里面来。
I want this, me tell you where I want this no to come from?
我要告诉你，这个 no 要从哪里来？
Where you really are, because where you really are is not up here.
是从你真正你这个人所来的，因为你真正的你不是在这里哦。真正的你
Yeah, this is where you really live.
真正你是住在这里。
Yeah. Way down deep in here.
很深的在这里面，那才是真正的你
See,
所
that's
在
why
的地方。
Jesus would say, out of your belly.
这是为什么说从
Remember when he said that?
要流出。
Out of your belly
耶稣说，从你的腹中要流出
flows rivers of living water.
活水的江河。
So this time,
所以这一次，
I want you from down here,
我要你从这里面
knowing that hand now is without doubting,
知道你现在的手没有任何的怀疑
and
跟
the
疑
other
惑，
without wrath.
另外一只手没有任何的愤怒。
I want you to say, no!
我要你说 no
No!
no，
Man, that feels good, doesn't it?
感觉还不错，对不对？
I think we ought to do that some more. No!
再一次 no。
Maybe you ought to learn how to practice on a regular basis.
我们可能需要不断的在日常生活当中操练这个。
Next time the self-doubt comes,
下一次自我疑惑进来的时候，你就说 no。
now I'm going to really challenge the religious spirits.
现在我真的要来挑战宗教的灵，
As a matter of fact,
知道吗？
hell no!
你就用英文讲好了 ，hell no， 中文。
I say no to hell,
我对地狱说 no，
and I say yes to my heavenly identity.
我对我天堂
I
真
say
实的身份
yes
说
to that.
yes， 我对我真实天国的身份说 yes，
I am who God says I am.
我是神所说的我，
I can do what God says I can do.
我可以做神说我可以做的事。
And I say no to every voice of hell.
我对地狱所有的声音都说 no。
Come on now, let's praise Him.
我们来赞美
Yeah.
神好不好？
Yeah!
Hallelujah。